Okay, let's put out a general market, stock market technical analysis video just for the general channel. I've already put out a private member video early this morning, and I've been posting in there. So if you guys are interested in that, getting additional market insights, trade ideas, link in the description below. We pretty much crushed this downside move. And again, in the private member group yesterday, I basically posted that it was objective to short. I had it at 480, all right, about 480 in triple Qs. And I told everyone pretty much right when that post that right there is a very objective level to short or add to shorts. And there, that's exactly where, we were loaded up again, adding to the short. Now, again, if you've been with me, I'm not short from 480, okay? We've been shorting ever since we failed the breakout right here, and I talk about it over and over, but I get perma bulls that come on and say I've been, wrong for years, and then when I basically crush one of the biggest downdrafts in a long time, they disappear. So when we failed that breakout right there, that's where we got short. That was our initial position. So for me, to catch little bounces here and there, I'm already well deep into the profit. All right. We did catch this bounce here, caught a chunk of that, and then obviously went short again when we started to break down. Okay. So anyways, 480. The day yesterday, as it was rallying up, there was, I didn't think there was a whole lot to do there. There wasn't a lot of news, and in general, technically nothing had changed. So when we rallied into 480, I took a short there. And then the way I did it, again, this is just active trading, but swing trading 480 was great. All right. Active trading. Yeah, I took the short there. We then went down to support. I posted in the private member group that we're at support. I closed my trade out there, just the active stuff. And then in the after hours, this thing ramped right back up to 480. I saw it at 480. I know it went a little higher, but when I saw it at 480, I reshorted it right there and loaded up in anticipation because we were at major resistance. And then sure enough, this thing collapsed. Now, that's all said and done. The money's been made, banked in our pockets. Anybody that's been shorting with me basically from up here, we've locked in gains. It took the bulls, it basically took them... you could go back to September or so. So they've given up 6 months worth of gains in a matter of just, very quick time. Where are we at now? There's some support right here on the daily chart. It's about 449.20. I could maybe adjust this. Yeah, I like it right in here. It's about, let's just call it 449-ish. All right, there's some support. We're not quite there. Maybe we flush out there into the end of the day. But that is support. So if we close on that support, we're probably going to get a bounce. The triple Qs is down more than 4.5%. That's basically the largest drops that ever come in the triple Qs. You go back to COVID. If I go back and look at COVID, I don't even think we had drops. I think we had drops maybe comparable. I have to go way back to look. And the charts are slow today because everybody's panicking. Everybody's all over these charts. COVID. Yeah, I'd have to go all the way back here and find some of these down days. Like here's a gap down. And that gap down was kind of similar today. 3%, almost 4%, but not quite. Here's a down day. Yeah, 3%. So, and here's probably the biggest drop. You gapped and then you fell down. Oh, that was actually a 9% down day in triple Qs. That's like unheard of for the most part. It's extremely rare to really see anything over about 4%. They barely come. So when you see those, it's pretty high probability that you're near the end or you're at least going to get a bounce. Like on this big down day in COVID, this 9%, the very next day, you gapped up and you rallied 9%. So that can happen. I don't want to give back 9% on my profit. And so rolling back to kind of where we're at now, again, I think we could bounce. We don't have to, but I think we can. I think the probability, it's not objective to short right now. Now, if we take out this level 449, take it out, yeah, we're probably heading lower. I've got levels at 430. I've got levels, there's a reaction low here at 413. It's about 413.75 or so. And we've got some lower reactions. There's one here at 486-ish. And there's an uptrend line. So those are the lower levels to watch. I'm just reacting at this point because the volatility is really high. It's kind of reaction time. We take the trade and get ready for the short when nobody's reacting right up here. When you get the big bearish engulfing and the reversal candle and it's objective to short with negative divergences, that's where we enter the positions. Then once everybody's, it's clearly everybody's in panic mode, all right? That hasn't changed. Now that that's taken place, there's no surprise. There's no element of surprise, so it doesn't make sense to short. I'm not like, there's nothing new. You've got probably a bunch of people bailing on longs and shorting today, all right? It's not objective. I'm just in reaction mode at this point. So we take out supports, great. I can take some shorts. My position sizing will be tapered down a little bit at this point. We've already captured a huge chunk of the downside, so I'm not looking for just load the boat short when everybody else is trying to do that as well. I don't want to be short with everyone. I want to be short with nobody. Let's look at the VIX. Well, here's the VIXY. Yeah, up 20%. All right. So put protection is now in place. People are buying put protection. This can go higher for sure, which means we can drop some more. But this is a semi-protected market now. So the more downside, we're coming closer to the end of the down move than we're at the beginning. The more you go down, the more people profit on the put protection. They close out those puts, which is buy to cover, puts a bottom in the market. So all right, that's that on the triple Qs. I've kind of talked about the levels to the downside. If we rally, then we probably could rally back up to the 200s, maybe even recover them. It would be a really objective short. I want to be short if I can get it at 500. That's where I'd love to short at. We haven't hit that yet. If we could rally all the way up there, you'd no longer have any bears, all right? All the shorts would be, they'd be squeezed out. And you'd be alone, we'd be all alone again on our shorting position right at 500. That would be beautiful for a recycle back into longer term swing shorts. I hope I get it, but we'll just react because again, the market is clearly, it's no surprises at this point. All right. The masses realize that they should have been short. And if you've been following my channel, I have been, and hopefully you have been as well. Okay, so when I look across where the opportunity is, I'm looking at like these Mag 7s, AVGO at support right there. There's good support down below too, about 149.50, so it could go a little lower. I can easily see that. I think you'd bounce somewhere either here and now or a little lower. And it's hard to hold out for that last little bit when you could bounce now. NVIDIA at support, all right? We've got some support here. Should bounce, or you don't have to. We could slice right through it, but I'll just wait for that slice and then re-short if I need to. Tesla, kind of, it's not doing much, kind of holding up. Google at support, all right. Apple below support. Okay, we'll see where we close the day. Right now, below support. If they can rally this thing into the close, they fire off some of those buy programs and buyback program and get this thing back up another little bit, have an end of the day rally, you close at support, and then this thing could gap fill. It doesn't have to, and as of right now we're below support. We got support, there's good support right down here at 196. That's really good support, so that could be it. We might go down a little bit more in Apple, and if that happens, maybe you see a little bit more downside in the triple Qs, but it's not much. I mean, from where we're at now in Apple, maybe 3.5%. You gap down there tomorrow morning, that's a buy, all right? That's a long, all right? So that's it. I'll point that out right now. If you see it in the morning down there, that's a long, You're probably not going to slice through that. You should bounce. So it's objective. I mean, it's worth the risk to take a long down there. But of course, we'll see how we close. Microsoft, just hit support. There's good support, basically, kind of where we're at, 366.50. Meta sitting on support. Amazon sitting on support here at 180.22. All right, so that's the, I see the Mag 7s at support. I can't be heavy short with that going on. So that's my positioning right now. I'm probably gonna, I'll probably go into the close with some long positions, maybe not heavy long, but just starter longs, because I can see a little more downside, but I think we're kind of bottoming. So yeah, and then obviously if we're not bottoming and we break through supports and start to slice through those, I'll flip and go. I'll go back short. But at this point, I'm not looking to load up on shorts. I'm really starting to taper back my positioning. Again, I want to be loaded up when nobody wants to be short. Once that is proven right, I take money off the table. We lock in profits. Look for the next trade. Okay, so where is the next trade? I think there's opportunity. I'll kind of highlight some zones of opportunity. GDX looks okay to me as a short. Now it's not. Here's what I see on the daily chart. We're basically holding right here. But if you look at the hourly, we broke support. We gapped down. They instantly stepped in and bought it, and then they've sold it back down to support. So we're sitting right there at that support level. I need to see that go. All right. If that breaks, kind of basically the lows, kind of basically right where we're at right now, 445.90 or so. If that starts to break on an hourly chart and we get the hourly close below that support, then that's it for the miners, and they should give it up, and they'll likely continue lower. I've got my target right now is I've got this blue line marked. It's about $40. That's my target. So the downside, if we get that sell signal, about a 13% drop. All right, there's opportunity. Not fully actionable for me yet. I did close out my GDX short right here at the open today. Didn't flip long, and I reshorted it on the back test. Sorry guys, I'm trying to grab these tools. I reshorted it on the back test. They popped it over that trend line, so I closed out that short when I reshorted it right there. Minor, just very small loss on that little trade. Huge gains already from this morning. So give a little bit back, and I'm just kind of waiting for the right re-entry for a short. All right, that's where I think the opportunity is to short this. I don't want to be long here. I want to look for that short, but I just need to see that trend line break on the hourly chart. And you can see they're right at support. They're holding it. The buyers are trying to hold that. So it's fine. We'll let them do their thing. Once I see the opportunity and the sell signal, I'll let you guys know. And if I don't see it, I'm pointing it out what to look for now, in this video. MOS, I love this stock as a long. MOS, I continue to talk about it. Gapping down today on, just everything gapped down. It was train wreck city this morning. But a lot of stuff is still down, but these things were bought up. This is only down 0.8%, down a little bit. That's fine. That's relative strength. And we were below our trend line. All right. This is our trend line we watch for support. It's been holding it. We were below it, but boom, bought it back up. So they're probably going to close it right on the trend line again. And in general, to me, it's still holding that trend line. So it's an objective long basically right now. And until we fail that trend line and it's a clear and obvious sign, then this is a long. Let me make it more clearly on the weekly chart. Kind of give you guys why I keep talking about this, because weekly stuff takes time. Big bullish falling wedge, bullish divergence, momentum's moving higher even though price is moving lower. And as I zoom in, you've got a breakout. Boom, weekly breakout. There's no way to hide that. It's a weekly breakout. And back test, all right? And a clear back test this week. They undercut it, but so far they've recovered it. So that's support. And I'm looking for the measured move, which is the widest part of this wedge, which is a rally up to 42-ish. It's not going to get there straight up. I just kind of highlight the direction. It's going to work its way up there. Okay, so that is opportunity. And nobody, again, this is when I want to be positioned. I want to buy this thing. It's down from the highs. Nobody wants this stock. It's down from the highs. It was down 70%. Okay, so I look to buy the things that have bullish setups and buy signals when nobody wants them. I look to sell them when everybody wants them. All right, I want to sell into that demand, and I want to buy when there's no demand. That's how we make money. Commodities, I'm looking across the commodities. They're all kind of getting roasted, but interesting enough, corn and wheat are pretty much flat. We're seeing kind of flat price action there on corn and wheat. So I still like wheat. It's a very bullish chart. It's the price is down, obviously. Trend is down. Momentum is not, though. The trending momentum is higher. We're seeing higher highs in momentum while price continues to make lower highs. That's bullish divergence. I'm looking for bullish price action here. That's it. This is kind of a long-term thing, so it's taken a while, but it's not moving down too aggressively on us. So we're continuing. I'm still with this one. I'm completely out of my MSTR and PLTR trades. Covered those today, I could see a bounce. On this one, MSTR, we've got bullish momentum. This was a divergent low right there on the daily. So if this thing wants to, I can see it honestly putting in a new all-time high here, because the reason is I don't have any negative divergence on this. I have negative momentum and I have negative price action, but I need to see a new higher high to give me that negative divergence that tells me that the trend's likely going to change. So out of that one for now. Not long. I'm not into buying that long, but PLTR, this one, same kind of deal. You've got, here's your former high, here's your high in momentum. No real negative divergence. Now you kind of had it right there, but it's not that clean. So if this wants to rally up, maybe backtest that trend line, put in a new high and give me that negative divergence, that would be the objective short that I'd be looking for. It's not super objective as a short right here and now. Yes, you are at resistance, 84.50. But because all those Mag 7s are sitting at support, if they hold that support, this will rally. All right, that will embolden the dip buyers. If they don't hold support and they break, this is very likely going down to 66. Okay, so it can go either way. I don't exactly know which way it's going to go. I'm just kind of telling you what to look for. And then react. What else is interesting? FITB, talked about that one for a very long time. The short entry as a swing trade was right back here. All right, that was our trade. And down she goes. The major target is the widest part of this bearish rising wedge. And that major target is right there, 35.05. That is the widest part of the wedge. There's some support just below 33.81-ish. I see some support, or maybe 32, somewhere right in there. But the major target is at 35. So why wait? Why hold out for the little bit more if it's going to go down a little more? And this one, this one's very likely heading to that major target. Another 2.5% downside on that one, and then that'd be it. That's the end of that trade. Called this out long time ago, back in early December, and it looks like it's just about finished playing out. Trying to think what else is, obviously it's dumpster fire city for everyone. XLF gapping down, kind of in no man's land, so probably, I don't know, could go high, could bounce into resistance, could go down to support. Who knows? I don't know. JP Morgan, at support. We're sitting at the 200-day moving average. So there's another large cap one at support. Now, it's probably going to break, but again, whatever those, unless those Mag 7s break, if the Mag 7s don't break, they're all at support right now. If they hold, then you'll bounce here on JP Morgan. So, it's not objective to be short sitting on the 200. And here's our heat map. Risk off. So you've got consumer defensives doing okay, and you've got utilities and healthcare. And that is basically it. Eli Lilly is almost more like a growth stock. It's in the healthcare thing, but it's more like a growth stock. So keep that in mind. But, like Johnson & Johnson, up today. So healthcare doing okay. Defensives. Let's look at the defensives here. You've got XLP. They're rallying. They're going up. I could see a little higher prices, just maybe a little bit higher. Boom, put in a divergent high. That would make sense. So maybe that means there's a little more downside in the growth, you know, in the tech stocks. I don't know, but keep that in mind. And then look at the interest rate yields. 10-year Treasury gapping down today. We'll see if we can. I don't think that's going to get recovered within an hour, but it could. That'd be a monster move in 1 hour. Yeah, probably not going to happen. So that's breaking support, but that's a flight to safety. That's the risk-off trade that's in right now. So you've got a rush to safety, which means everyone's piling out of growth stocks and, you know, panic selling into the safe, you know, risk-off stuff. And they're obviously buying bonds. All right, and that's why the interest rates are down today. So it's not a bullish thing as of right now. Now, once stocks kind of stabilize, and you know, and we'll see rates kind of have been brought down, then yeah, you're going to see things like XHB. It's kind of sitting at support right now. This is home builders. These are interest rate sensitive, selling off today because everything's getting sold, but you are at support, and you do have bullish divergence. All right, so this actually, I mean, that's an objective long at that support level. It's so close to the resistance, though, right here in this bullish falling wedge. Why take the chance at support when we'll just wait for the break of resistance? That's what I'd prefer to do. And then on this one, the widest part of the wedge, which I have marked here, sets us up for a move whenever it breaks out, and I don't know when that is, of maybe something like that. So probably up to 111.50. All right, there's resistance overhead. That would be my target. So keep an eye on that. There might be an opportunity there. And that's all I got for this video. So drop me a thumbs up if you guys made a ton of money shorting the market. If you're a hater, just be quiet because you have nothing to say. And then we will get the video out and keep looking for new trades. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.